In 2001, the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce and Middle Tennessee Society for Human Resource Management had the vision to develop and implement the HR Excellence Program. The HR Excellence Program's goal is to raise the performance level of HR by establishing a standard of excellence based on results. The application process enables you to develop a performance baseline and establish a strategy for continuous improvement from the baseline, quality examiner feedback, and best practices sharing. Organizations are formally recognized for their outstanding HR practices, processes, and associated business results. Ultimately, the program will help improve an organization's performance and ability to compete in both national and global markets. Former award recipients include organizations from varying industries with 50 to over 20,000 employees. So don't be intimidated. You too have the opportunity to be included in this elite group. This information session will provide you some important helpful tips in preparation for your successful submittal of a thorough and comprehensive application. There are many benefits to completing the HR Excellence application and participating in the program. So take advantage by engaging your team on an incredible journey of discovery and development. Additional information pertaining to the program history, benefits of applying, and eligibility can be found on the program website and in the written application instructions. Any other questions can be directed to a program committee chairperson. Let's start by focusing on the eligibility requirements. Applying organizations must be located in Middle Tennessee. Your organization does not have to be headquartered in Middle Tennessee, but you should have a staff and an HR presence in this area. There are 5 individual facet areas to the overall HR Excellence Award: HR Strategy, HR Management Practices, Organizational Learning and Development, Measurement of HR Performance, Employee Well-being and Engagement. An organization has 2 options when submitting an award application. Apply for the overall award, which encompasses all 5 facet areas in the same year, or apply separately for one or more facet areas. Keep in mind, an organization can only receive the overall HR Excellence Award every 3 years. Organizations are eligible to apply for one or more facets each year, but can only receive the facet once in each category every 3 years. Some companies use the facet award as a building block to add another category or 2 in the following years as they work towards receipt of the full award. If an organization does not achieve overall HR excellence by excelling in all 5 categories simultaneously, it may still earn one or more facet awards. If the overall award seems overwhelming, you may consider applying for one or more facets instead. Many organizations apply the first time to get the feedback and then use that feedback to reapply. Organizations often receive an award the 2nd or 3rd year as they have improved their processes and results. Some organizations apply for the facet area where they believe their organization is strongest, and others choose to select an area to further develop to receive the feedback. If you apply for the overall award and receive one or more facets instead, you will not be required to reapply for the awarded facet area in the following year. If you do not achieve the full HR Excellence Award within 3 years, you will begin the process as a new applicant. Regarding the application process, don't procrastinate. Begin as soon as possible to avoid a time crunch and possible substandard submittal. Read the application in total before you begin to answer questions. It's important to take a team approach to the application to ensure continuity in your responses and to manage the deadlines. Once you have your team in place, assign responsibilities and agree on milestone dates to reach the May 1 application deadline. As you develop your responses, ensure consistency in style and format. Also be sure that your answers follow the questions. As simple as this may seem, if the examiners cannot follow your answers and find them in the correct order, then your application will be penalized. Finally, make sure your answers are clear and concise. These tips may seem obvious, but are frequently found in completed applications. Double-check that your responses correlate to the appropriate category number and letter. Mislabeling can occur if you don't proofread the application thoroughly. You also need to show your approach, consistency, and results within each answer. Remember that those reading it do not know how your organization operates, so you need to show your strategic approach. Use charts, graphs, surveys to help the examiner better understand your points. If your application has poor grammar or typos, it will reflect poorly on your submittal. Your organization profile is important because it shows your priorities, your goals, and your culture. If an item does not apply to your organization, then explain why it doesn't and include the business reason. Describe the approach first and then follow up with examples for clarification. If you have a crossover, you can reference it instead of using valuable space to reiterate the same information. If you have a program in the beginning stages, document it and mention it if it can be linked to refinement. The issue becomes whether or not it has been around long enough to see an impact. The examiners are looking at evidence that shows results and impact in each of these categories, not just the evidence of activity or a program existing. Facet 1, HR Strategy. This area investigates how HR sets strategic objectives and develops action plans that help your business meet its goals and objectives. Facet 2, HR Management Practices. This area examines current HR practices and policies that seek to maximize productivity, flexibility for change, and opportunity for organizational effectiveness. Facet 3, Organizational Learning and Development. This area examines the organization's workforce education, training, and the on-the-job reinforcement of knowledge and skills with the aim of increasing employees' effectiveness in meeting the organization's objectives. Facet 4, Measurement of HR Performance. This area measures the success of the human resources function and how ongoing changes are made to enhance the effectiveness of HR within the organization. Facet 5, Employee Well-being and Engagement. This area examines the organization's work environment, employee morale, and how employee satisfaction is assessed and addressed. The examiner team consists of a panel of HR practitioners and educators. This is an independent evaluation, and your organization is not compared to other applicants. You are competing with the criteria compared to your own organization. The examiners spend hours reviewing each application separately. A scoring document is used by the examiners as a baseline when scoring each application. As a starting point, look at the middle range of the scoring document and determine where your organization fits. All of the scores are combined and the examiners come together for dialogue and ultimately consensus. The scores are important, but there is also an element of discussion that impacts whether an award is given. It's important to understand that completing an application does not guarantee a site visit or an award. The examiners choose if they need a site visit to help validate the information contained in the application. On a site visit, the examiners meet with the executive team, the HR team, and a group of employees to ask questions. The site visit does not add additional information, but it validates what was provided in the award application. A site visit does not guarantee an award. Each year, there may be no recipients, one recipient, or multiple recipients. The application, written instructions, and timeline, as well as other valuable information, can be found on the HR Excellence website. The application is due on May 1st. This is a hard deadline, and it must be postmarked by that date. Site visits are scheduled with enough advance notice to allow the full executive team to be present. Recipients are honored in August at the awards luncheon. Award recipients are asked to present at a best practices workshop in October. Now that you have the information you need to complete an outstanding application, here's what you need to do next. Go to the HR Excellence website and download the application, instructions, and scoring document, and get your team started. You can always contact a program committee member for questions that may arise throughout the application process. Our HR Excellence representatives will be happy to meet with you individually or with your team. Contact information for these individuals may be found on the program website. We thank the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce and Middle Tennessee Society for Human Resource Management for their vision and ongoing support in developing this program. Also, thank you to our dedicated volunteers who ensure this program continues to deliver desired results, and to our wonderful sponsors who make this program possible.